Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Genuine Podcast. I hope you all are doing well. I am a little bit tired right now, to be honest. My eyes kind of hurt, and I think it's because I was wearing my glasses for a long time today. And I got new glasses not too long ago, and I kind of feel like my prescription's a little too strong. So I feel like when I wear them, I could feel like my vision is getting worse. But anyways, besides that, it's currently May 1st when I'm filming this. So we are in my birthday month, which is crazy to think about. But I can't even think about my birthday because I have all my finals literally the week of my birthday. I have a final on my birthday, so we're gonna party hardy after though. But I have Jerry on the line. So Jerry, how are you?
Yellow. Pretty good. I'm actually in a good, I guess, mood. I took a little nap, so I'm nice and refreshed. And so, yeah.
I'm glad to hear you're in a good mood. And since you're in a good mood, you could start off with your report card for this
What?
week.
Okay, fine. So my report card, mentally, I'm at a decent. Yeah. Let's just go A's all around the board, man. I just feel good. Happy, stress free. Looking forward to the end of the semester. And yeah, things are going well. I guess physically, another got to give it. Actually, no. Physically, let's give it a B. Yeah, just a B. That's it.
YB.
Um, I don't know. That's it. Just okay. Fine. I feel like my body. These 3 days, it's supposed to be like I'm chilling out because I've been feeling pretty tired this week. Um, but hopefully next week I can go back full power and start feeling more plumpy again. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Yeah, you'll get back to it. But
That's
for
right.
my report card, mentally, I think I'm at like a B. I mean, I just have like a lot of things to do because I have like 3 more weeks left of school. Like it's really like crunch time right now. So I have a lot of projects, a lot of exams. So I'm trying to just manage my time really well right now because I just don't want to do everything at the last minute. So I'm trying to really just be diligent with my time. And physically, I would say I'm probably like at a C. I mean, I'm doing better. Like I'm trying to do even if it's like an hour or like even like a little bit of something, as long as like I'm moving my body and because in my head I always think like, oh, I need to do like 2 or 3 hours at the gym. But you know what? An hour is fine. And if I'm not lifting all the time, if I'm just doing cardio, that's also fine. So I'm trying to give myself more grace. But those are our report cards. So this episode, we are talking about careers. And I really wanted to talk about this because I had like a big epiphany recently of what I want to do career wise. And I think it would help so many people to figure out what they want to do. Um, so let's just get into it. So, our first question for the podcast: what inspired you to choose this career path?
All right. So, I think I'll actually jump in and throw mine out first. So my career path, I'm going for it's not, I guess, super defined, but something along the lines of a counselor or some sort of like maybe social working. And but yeah, more along the lines of like I want to sit down with people, uh, hear their problemos or what's going on, help them out, find a solution. I guess you could think maybe like a therapist kind of, but not quite. It's a counselor. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of my goal there. And as for what inspired me, it's really just like I guess throughout my life, I've always heard like people tell me like, "Oh, you're really good at listening." Like, oh, or a lot of people have came to me for that. Tell me their problemos, and we talk it out. It's cool. And and even when I was like a little younger, I always was like, yeah, I want to be that person who people come to for their problemos and all that. So, yeah, I guess I don't know what or when it happened, but I always just had that in me where I was like, I want to help people out. That's always been my thing, and yeah, that's I guess what inspired me. What about you, Bianca?
Oh, that's really sweet. Um, for me personally, what inspired me to choose this career path? I mean, my career path has been all over the place because when I was 18, that's when I started going to college, and I was first declared as a kinesiology major. And I was swimming at the time, and I was being recruited by a bunch of really great schools. And it's very typical for an athlete to be a kinesiology major. And back then, when I was going to different schools and they're like, "Oh, what's your major?" And I would say, "Oh, it's kinesiology." People would be like, "Oh, another one." And I don't know. I felt like a little bit embarrassed. Like, I just felt like, damn, like, I know like a lot of athletes do kinesiology, but I feel like we're some of the best people to be, in that field because it's so like geared towards athletes. And so then I chose nursing just because like I wanted to be different. So I was honestly doing it for the wrong reasons. And then I realized like, you know what, this isn't for me. Like I'm just doing it just to like please other people or just to sound like, I don't know, I guess I'm doing something more than like what a regular athlete would be doing. Um and then I got into like computer science because I was like so interested in Apple, and I don't know exactly what it's called, but every year they have, I think it's called like the WWDCU, which is like the Worldwide District Conference for Apple. So that's like when they talk about like the new products that are coming out every year. And I was just so interested in like the detail of the products that they were making. So I'm like, I want to work for Apple. And then I was looking more into it and I was like, maybe this isn't something I really want to do actually. And then I was like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be like a boss woman, you know? And then I guess I started like going on the other path of just like other classes that I tried. Like I tried yoga and I was like, oh, I want to be a yoga instructor. And then I went to I tried ceramics and I was like, oh my god, I want to be a ceramic professor. Like I was all over the place. Um and then the most recent thing I was like looking into was being a massage therapist. So I guess that goes in hand with like being an entrepreneur. And then finally, I have picked occupational therapy. And I guess like what inspired me was just talking to a couple of people, my tutor and someone else I met recently. So those are kind of the people that truly inspired me. But obviously, like kinesiology has kind of been my thing. I went like in a full circle and I went back to kinesiology. And actually, there is a counselor from Rio Hondo, which was my JC, and he convinced me to go back to kinesiology because he was the one that told me like, this major is made for athletes and you guys are some of the best people to be in this major because you have done sports probably maybe like most of your life, or for like a good amount. So I know that was a really long answer, but that's what inspired me to choose this career path.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you run? So your your tutor um was the person that inspired you to do that?
Well, I guess like getting into the major, I guess that was solely me just because I swam for
Oh,
14 years. And my a counselor from Rio Hondo convinced me to stick with the major. So I guess that's like the major part, but the career ending was like my tutor and another friend that I met recently.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I know that was like, there's so many turns and everything in that answer, but it's really been a long journey for me. Right now I'm 24. I'm turning 25 in like 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks when this comes out, but yeah, it's been all over the place. But anyways, moving on though, was there a specific moment or experience that made everything click for you?
Uh-oh. Um, for me, that it made everything click for me. I think maybe just like I think it was just kind of the thing I mentioned earlier of like people telling me like it's something that matches me. It kind of helps like push you towards it, you know? So I guess it was just that hearing people be like, "Yeah, man, I think this is really good for you," and I kind of agree. So uh, yeah, it was just that. What about you, Bianca?
Um, I mean, it doesn't sound like something specifically like clicked for you. Like, am I wrong or?
Yeah, no, there was not really anything like specific, no like super major event. I just kind of knew like this is, it's just the right fit, and I just know it is, and but there wasn't anything I can point out where I'm like, oh, this definitely is uh what made it click for me, you know?
Okay, okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting because, well, for me, I mean, it took a really long time, but I guess recently I'm actually, maybe I didn't say this in the first question, but occupational therapy is what I've stuck to, or I guess that's like my real life answer. And then, of course, my dream answer would be podcasting. But of course, I have to be realistic and, think of the future and what I want my future to look like. So I think occupational therapy would be fulfilling. But, anyways, though, going back to, I guess, like a specific moment or experience that clicked for me was I talked to my tutor, like I said, and I talked to another friend that I met recently. And this new friend that I met recently, they honestly were probably like the biggest reason why it made me have a realization. And I did mention this in the last podcast, but it's just so good. It's just so good. The phrase of don't just shoot for the moon, shoot for the stars. And I'll say again, I guess like what that means is, you could shoot for a really high goal, but that you have just so much more potential that you don't even know. So you could shoot for something even higher. So I guess like an example could be like, oh, like the moon would be, I want to be like a personal trainer. And then the stars would be, I want to have my own gym, I want to have my own brand, and I want to have like my own business. I guess that's like an example of what that would be. And if you don't shoot for the stars, or if you don't make it to the stars, then you just go back to the moon. So you're still shooting for like a high goal. Um so yeah, I had a friend tell me that recently, and they were just making me ask really deep questions and hard questions that maybe I wasn't thinking about, and I just simply just didn't do enough research, I think. And I think that's also another problem that people have when they're trying to find the careers, that they're just not simply doing enough research. And you just kind of hear things from like word from mouth from other people about maybe careers in whatever your major is. Um yeah, and then also something that my tutor told me was that you don't necessarily have to have a job that you love. You need something that you at least like. Of course, don't have a job that you don't hate. But because like I would see interviews of people like Kobe Bryant saying like, like a really important tip that he gave in an interview once was he was saying like make sure that you do what you love, like have a job that you love. And that's a little hard to say for everybody because not everybody's Kobe Bryant. But it would be ideal, of course, to have a job that you love. But I don't know if that's entirely realistic for everybody because there's some people, I don't know, that maybe work in, tougher jobs that maybe people don't want to be necessarily working in. But anyways, going back to my point though, my tutor said, of course, try to find a job that you at least like or that you wouldn't mind doing because your job isn't everything. It doesn't define you, entirely because there's so many things that you could do outside your job that also have more meaning or fulfillment, like your friends and your family, and maybe you like to go travel or maybe you like to go garden or whatever your hobbies are. So there's more to life than just your job, even though here in America, I mean, that's kind of like all that we preach is work, 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 work. Um, so yeah, that also was something that kind of helped ease my mind as well, was that my job is not going to fully define who I am. And it's not like my overall purpose in life. Like, there's so many other things outside of your career that are going to give you meaning to your life.
So facts, bro. That's such wisdom from your tutor there.
Yeah, it really was. And also from my friend, like they both really helped me tremendously. And that's like, that was the click. That was the click. So I'm really, really grateful for both of them. But
Shout out.
shout out them. But moving on to the next question though. How did you explore your options before settling on this path?
So, how did I explore my options? I believe I know I definitely like because similar to you, I had the kinesiology thing, and I will say I was definitely like I had that same situation where I wasn't sure what to do in that field. I wasn't even too confident in that major, and so yeah, I want to do the whole athletic trainer or maybe like a some sort of chiropractor. I even wanted to do like the massage school, similar to you. And I was just like, yeah, man, I don't know. None of these really like click for me. What else did I think about doing? I think besides those like fields in kinesiology, besides those, I think it was just always like in the back of my mind. I knew I wanted to. I didn't really want to do those. I wanted to do something more like like I was saying, like counselor or any social work, any of that. That's just what I wanted to do. So yeah, I think I only explored like some of the kinesiology fields, but besides that, no, nothing else.
Interesting. Okay. Well, but isn't it okay? I guess I want to backtrack on you a little bit because now you're a communications major, right?
Right, right,
And you
right.
started with kinesiology. So I guess what drove you to communications?
Communications, I solely chose it because I saw it as this very, how would I say it? Like, it doesn't lock you into like this specific thing. It's very diverse, it fits a lot of things. It's not something like maybe let's just say psychology or business. Actually, those might not be good examples. Okay, maybe something like architect, right? Or what's another like super um, specific major? Just those specific majors. It's more. It has more. I don't know the word, but it's more diverse, and you could just. I feel like having that major, you can really tap into a lot of fields that, you know, it just. Yeah, it's. I don't know, man. It's just so diverse. So I could tap into whatever, and that's it, man. It was just really easy. I was like, yeah, this is the major I want. I think this is perfect, and then I switched.
Okay. I know what you mean cuz how you say like communications you could use that into like a bunch of different fields like how you
Oh,
said like with kinesiology. I mean, that's something a little more specific towards like
right.
sports and like athletics and stuff like that. But I guess you could still like use communications for something that's like business related or something that's maybe like I don't know, like in the arts somehow or I know what you mean. I know what you're saying.
Just a lot of options out there where it's not super specific like those other majors. So
Yeah.
for sure.
I know what you mean. For me, I guess how did I explore my options before settling on this path? Kind of like what I said, like I really took advantage of my time when I was at my JC of wanting to do a bunch of electives that I've been wanting to do. Like I took so many unnecessary classes that I didn't need, but I did it for the reason just because I wanted to explore and see what it was about. Cause like I had mentioned, like I took yoga and then I also took ceramics. I took a photography class. And obviously those are like more fun classes. And I was like, man, like, what if like this is my calling? And then I would kind of get in like I don't want to say a phase because these are still things I still like doing. But I was really like really into yoga at one point and I was like, man, like this is great. Like all you do is like teach people how to stretch and like do these moves and that's it. And then like ceramics. The professor that I had, he was incredible, and he also taught at UCLA, and he was just, I don't know, something about like just playing with like a bunch of clay and, teaching people how to make stuff. I mean, that seems like a really fun job, and that it just wouldn't really seem like work. Um yeah, and then I also explored personal training, so that was something, or that is something in my field, and I thought like, you know what, like this is my future job, like I found it, like I know what it is, but then I did it and then I realized, okay, maybe this isn't what I thought exactly what it would be like, and there's things that I don't agree with in that industry. I guess specifically working for like commercial gyms and stuff. So, yeah, I just really took my time just trying new things. And the massage thing, I did a workshop in Long Beach one time at like some massage school, and like it was interesting, but yeah, my experience was maybe not the best experience, just because my partner was not maybe the ideal client that I would want, because I'm not trying to be mean to this man, but he was a little bit stanky. He was a little bit stanky, and it just kind of threw me off, you know? So I was like, "Oh, like I don't want to do this." I
Shut out that.
mean, yeah, shut out that guy, but no, don't shut out that guy. But yeah, so like I said, I definitely took my time trying different hobbies and things I was interested in, and I just didn't want to be afraid of throwing myself into something.
I do want to say, I mean, that's good that you kind of at least knocked it out, tried all these different things, and I guess got a feel for them. As opposed to maybe a person who, they decide this is what they want to do that their whole life, never tried anything else. So that's cool, but I guess it is at the cost of like a little bit of your time, because you had to maybe you had to do school for more time or whatever. But at least you got to experience some stuff, so that's cool.
Yeah, honestly, that is very true what you just said right now, because yeah, I mean, it definitely took a lot of time and a lot of money to try and explore those things that I wanted to do, but I don't regret not, or I don't regret doing those things, because I tried at least, and I found out for myself if this was something that I really wanted to pursue in the future or not. And I don't think anybody should be afraid of trying. I mean, if you have the means of doing it and like the cost and the time, then I think you should try and explore it and not have this, I guess, bubble of wondering of what if, So that's just something that I didn't want to have, is like, what if this, what if that, what if this. So I did it for myself, and I found out my answer on my own.
Facts.
Facts. But for our next question, what steps did you take to working towards your career goals?
Okay, quick answer for me. Um, it's really just like knocking out school. I think that's just the major thing. Obviously, there's more steps to it. Getting some experience in there, maybe doing some things that may look good for that field, in terms of volunteer work or something. But yeah, really, the main thing is just knocking out school and getting that out of the way. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, mine's, of course, kind of the same answers. You got to knock out school, you have to do internships. Also, I think it would be helpful to also email people that are in your field and get actual answers from people that are already in the field, and just see kind of like what are the pros and the cons from someone that is actively working in that field. I actually have an appointment in maybe like a week when this comes out. I might already have had the appointment, but it's with a career counselor, and they help you find internships and also, I guess, just like openings for jobs and stuff like that. So I do need to do an internship soon. I mean, it probably will be next year when I'll do an internship. So hopefully that will go well in the future, and that my career counselor can help me out. Also, just doing research on my own. Just like I said, I don't think a lot of people do enough research. Like today, I asked somebody, I forgot what they said that they want to do career wise, but it's something like really specific to sports. I guess it's somebody who kind of directs like the athlete to go find resources mentally. I forgot what the title of it was, but they're not like diagnosing like maybe certain diseases or like mental illnesses that they might have, but they're directing them to go to somebody to figure them out. Um but anyway, so I asked this person, I'm like, "Oh, how much does, this kind of person make in the field?" And they didn't know. And I was like, "It's so interesting. Like I don't know, I think that's something kind of important that you should know." Um but yeah, so doing the research, of course, like I'm doing the schooling right now and internships and like talking to people that are actually in your field and networking are pretty important things, I would say. So those are steps I've taken so far towards my career goal.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. Did you face any pressure from family or peers to choose a different path?
Ooh, another quick answer for me. No, I wouldn't say my family doesn't care, but yeah, there's definitely not much pressure for me to do a certain career or yeah, no, they don't really care as long as I guess I do something eventually, but yeah, no, not at all. What about you?
Oh, that's really sweet. It sounds like your family is pretty supportive. Um, but for me personally, I mean, it's been through, like I said, I've been through a roller coaster of like different phases in my life of what I want to do. So when I was swimming at the time, and I was being recruited for a lot of high end schools, and at the time, like some schools that I was looking at, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a kinesiology major, and then when I was 19, I was still being scouted for schools. I changed it to nursing at the time, and definitely like schools for swimming were telling me like, yeah, that's kind of like not possible for you to do. Like you kind of need to pick something else, or else it'll be like way too difficult for you to do. So there's kind of some pressure there for me to try and like change my major when I was being recruited for schools. And that's because like the classes or like internships or, doing like the clinical side of it would interfere with me swimming. And obviously, a school that's recruiting you, they're going to want you to place and obviously be a part of the team, and be able to score like points and things like that. Yeah, so obviously I think they care about that a little bit more. But family wise though, later on when I wanted to do massage therapy, my mom or honestly both of my parents were pretty against it and definitely like put me down like quite a bit, saying like, there's no way that I could run a business if I don't have a business degree. And that's something that I do very much disagree with. I mean, there's so many people that are running businesses right now and they've never taken a business course in their life. So definitely from there, from my family, and also from the time when I was being recruited and I was a nursing major. And in terms of peers, not really. I wouldn't really say from my peers. Um, yeah, but those are the two scenarios that I could think off the top of my head right now.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. So very different points in my life. But moving on though, how confident do you feel in your decision now and why?
For me, I'd say I'm fairly confident in this. I don't know if we're just speaking strictly on major or the actual career path. I mean, in my major, I'm extremely confident. I'm just kind of like, it's just my major, man, and I'm sure it'll help me. And for my career, I'm fairly confident in that as well. I'm pretty, like I mentioned earlier, I'm pretty loose with it. I guess when it comes to like labeling it, because I want to do something that's along those lines of like a counselor, social worker, blah blah blah. And it doesn't really matter if I end up doing something else. That's why I chose communications because it's so versatile. and I can just wiggle my way into whatever I want to. Um, but yeah, I'm fairly confident that that's what I want to do, though. That's for sure. What about you, Bianca?
That's good. That's honestly really good to hear. Because it sucks when you're not so confident on what you want to do. But for me, right now, where I am in my life, um, is the most like confident that I felt. Like a 10 out of 10. Like I feel very confident. Like my future is super clear now because for literally like almost I guess like the whole time that I've been in college, I my future has been blurry. And of course, like when you're in the stage of preparation, you have to think about the future because that's what the goal is. And so it's kind of like right now I've been running around doing this marathon and I have no idea where the finish line is. But now that I finally found like where the finish line is, it's definitely easier for me to just keep going, you know? So that's the best analogy that I could think of right now in terms of I guess like how that feels.
Right, right.
But our next question, what's been the biggest challenge so far in pursuing your chosen career?
Ah, um, dude, it has to be school. Like just it's so, I guess, time consuming. So many years go by. You're just trying to knock out these classes. For me, it really just is that. And um, I know maybe, yeah, I'm not really worried about the financial side. Thankfully, I know that'll be fine. But yeah, it really just is like knocking out all these years of schooling. So I'm sure you kind of have that too, right?
I mean, yeah, of course, like the schooling's hard, but I think ultimately just myself has been the biggest challenge just because I tend to be an analysis paralysis a lot. And for anybody who doesn't know what analysis paralysis is, that is when you're in the thinking stage way too long and it's like to the point where you can't take action to do anything. And it's because obviously you want to make the right move, but that is not the case in life. Like at some point you're going to make the wrong move and that's how you learn and that's how you grow. You learn from your mistakes and you move on. And yeah, so that was honestly my biggest problem that I've been having. And also, of course, like comparing myself to other people and where they are in their life. And also just, yeah, just I guess not fully doing enough research. Again, this is just going back to like a me problem of not doing my part, I guess, to one, I guess, do the research, and two is just thinking way, way too much. And of course, like there's so many options and there's so many things that you could do with your life. Like it's so crazy right now that you can make a decision of okay, now I like want to be an art teacher or now I don't know, I want to produce music. And right now what you do is I guess you're creating your future now. And it's just so crazy how it could just change like so fast like that. So that's ultimately been the biggest challenge for me so far is just me, my thoughts basically.
Dang. That's interesting. I didn't really expect that answer, like I'm the problem, but at least you've acknowledged that and now you can, move forward with doing the things you got to do. So that's good.
Yeah, it definitely has taken a long time, but I know there's some people that are way older than me that it's almost to a point where it's like too late. Or, I wouldn't want to be figuring out like what I'm doing with my life when I'm 40, but um yeah, I'm glad that I finally figured it out now. But going to our next question though, how do you stay motivated when things get tough in your field?
Uh, so actually, I'd like to hear your answer for this one first.
Um, Honestly, I just think about my future. I think about specifically my future kids and my future husband. And obviously, it's hard to think about those things right now because I just simply don't have them. Like, I don't even have a boyfriend, but I know and I trust in God that one day He's going to bless me with such a lovely family. And also, just thinking about where I want to live and not just to keep saying, like, oh, yeah, I would like to live here. Oh, I would like a family. Oh, I would like a husband. Like, no, like, I truly believe like those things are going to happen. I really want to have like a nice home one day, and that's just what I keep thinking of. Like one day I really really want those things, so I'm going to have to support my kids and my family, and I would like to live kind of a comfortable lifestyle too. So in order to get those things, I have to have a pretty stable job, or something that's going to make like a decent amount of money. So that's what motivates me right now, is thinking about my future in that specific sense.
Hell yeah, brother. I what was I gonna say? For me, I wouldn't say that I struggle with maybe staying motivated. Like, um, yeah, I don't really think so. At least not at the moment, right? But but it is true though. Like those things you mentioned, the future, the family you have to support, and all those things. It's definitely always been on the back of my mind, even since I was like really young, like high school or before that. I was always thinking like, man, I gotta make sure in the future, I figure something out where I'm able to, support a family or buy a car, buy a house, this and that. And so that's always been on the back of my mind. But I wouldn't really say it's what keeps me motivated, but I think it's a cool point or thing you brought up. Yeah.
So, okay, you said that you think about that in the back of your mind. So, I guess, is there something like more specific now then that you think about to
What do you
stay
mean?
motivated? Because you said, well, I guess like it's not really hard for you to, I guess, like stay motivated.
Right, right.
So, it's just like
So
more about discipline now that you're feeling, I guess.
maybe it's just like sheer will, but yeah, I really wouldn't say that at least that I can recall, I've never really like lost motivation. I just kind of know it's what I got to do, so I just keep doing it, And it's just like the next steps, and so, well, And thankfully, I've not too stressed, or I've never had anything knock me down besides, when I was trying to figure out, oh, what is it that I want to do. But yeah, just I'd have to say that at the moment I'm not really struggling to stay motivated or feeling like, oh man, I just want to stop. No, it's just let's keep going and let's do more. I know I got to do more, so I know I have to lock in on that um, uh, now. Um, but yeah, I kind of forgot the question though. You said you were saying what?
It's just, how do you stay motivated when things get tough in your field?
Uh, Yeah, no. Whatever I said, that's what I said. Yeah, that's all I got.
No worries. I mean, that's good. I mean, you definitely sound like you have a pretty strong, I guess, mindset or like resilience of how you just said, like, that's what you got to do, and you just got to keep going, and you're going to get there at some point.
Exactly. But kind of like you said, the future is always a thing you got to think about. And I know you look at it maybe with optimism, and I do too, don't get me wrong. But it's also like, maybe the stresses of like, oh man, I got to make sure I can provide and make enough money to not be on the freaking street. So, yeah, some things to think about there. So maybe you could say that keeps you motivated too, but yeah, it's on the back of my mind. I think I got it down though.
Got you, got
Ka-chow.
you. Good show. Okay, for our final question, what advice would you give to somebody still trying to figure out their path?
I'd love for you to say yours first.
Okay, so my advice, I am looking at my iPad at my notes, what I wrote. So I would tell them to focus on what energizes them, not just what they're good at. Try things and don't wait for clarity before acting. Talk to people doing what you're curious about in whatever field it is. And it's okay to pivot and change your path. Like your path is not always linear, it's not always straight. And like I mentioned earlier, you don't need a job that you necessarily love. At least find a job that you like or that you wouldn't mind doing. And I guess most importantly, don't just shoot for the moon. Shoot for the stars because I believe in you so much. You have so much potential that you don't even know. You are smart enough to do whatever it is. You can make the work ethic. You can stay motivated. I know there's plenty of people that are in the same boat as you. And just don't feel like you're alone. Just don't be afraid to try and explore different things. And yeah, I'm going to say it again one more time. Don't just shoot for the moon, shoot for the stars.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow. What's your advice that you would give to someone still trying to figure out their path?
Dude, well, firstly, everything you said, very, very solid advice, and what I would piggyback off would be my advice would be definitely think realistically. Yeah, no, there's dreams, and I would say 100% go for the thing. I mean, that goes with your saying that you got going on right now. But yeah, definitely go for your dream and but be realistic, and definitely take action. Don't just sit there waiting for something to happen. You got to start um, moving and getting things going. And yeah, and what would be my last one? And that's all I got. I'm sorry. I don't have much advice here. But
No,
I wish everyone the best of luck finding their path. It's definitely kind of it's a challenge for everyone, and can we all go through it, but eventually we figure it out, and yeah, wishing everyone the best of luck on that.
exactly. Wishing everybody the best of luck on that. And also, I do want to add one more thing to mine is do your research because obviously there's not someone coming up to you just giving you a whole list of jobs that are in your career. Like you have to go and you have to find those things out on your own and make sure you look at every possible thing because there's so many careers out there that you probably don't even know exist. So do your research as well. But okay, you guys, that is pretty much the end of the podcast. So we are going to wrap it up. And I want to start adding this as a new ending. So we are going to talk about our weekly wins. So, Jerry, what is your weekly win for this week?
Damn it, dude. What's your weekly win, Bianca?
My weekly win is I think I'm doing a pretty good job right now of being well with my time. I guess like time management because I've been I guess like a little bit before in the past like few weeks I haven't been so great with my time management, but I think I've been doing well this week in particular just because I know my finals are coming up. I have a lot of important projects and of course I still want to make time for my health as well and I don't want to put that on the back burner cuz I could feel the physical effects tremendously. So, that's something that I don't want to take for granted either, but yeah, my win for this week is doing pretty well with my time management. And also, I have a score, I think it's or a streak of 7 right now or 8 for my Duolingo. So that's also my weekly win.
Hey, nice, nice. That's good. Time management's actually a pretty good skill, man. I sure don't have it. But yeah, for my weekly win, I'd say I guess I've been doing like more cardio, and I've been walking around my neighborhood a lot. Um, and I mean, it's not hard, but yeah, it's been cool to do. And I wouldn't typically do it. Typically, I'm like anti cardio, but I'm opening my mind here and just taking nice, cool little walks. A lot of dogs in the neighborhood, so I have to stay guarded, but I still do it. And yeah, it's just been cool. And that's what I'd say, I guess, my weekly win is.
Okay, right on, right on. And lastly, we are doing now appreciation time. So, Jerry, what is something that you are appreciative or grateful that has happened to you this week?
Homie from class invited me to a cool little event. So shout out my boy. Uh, I am honored that he would invite me to go to his cool little set. So that's what I'll say. What about you, Bianca?
That's cool. I'm also invited to, right?
Right, right.
Whatever. Anyways, I'm grateful for Miranda inviting me to an event at my school. It's called Latinas at the Beach, or I guess that's like what the club organization, whatever is club. I think it's just a club. Um, but we made like little clay, or we used like air clay to make like whatever that we wanted to make. So that was cool to like spend time and do like a little arts and crafts thing. And I was able to spend time with Miranda. So that's something that I'm grateful and appreciative this week.
Shout out Miranda.
Shout out Miranda. But okay, you guys. So now there's officially the end of the podcast. Jerry, is there anything that you would like to say to the people?
Just the same old, same old. Happy to be back here and excited, looking forward to next week's episode. Some final advice for everyone: make sure you wipe down your phone every now and then. That is all for me. Thank you, Bianca. Peace.
Peace. Okay, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. This is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a little bit now because I know there's so many people that are struggling with trying to figure out their career and just like a lot of things I hear nowadays that people get a degree and then they have a job that has nothing to do with that degree, or just simply people coming out of high school and they just have literally no idea what they want to do. So I hope that this helped you a little bit. Um, these are our personal experiences. Obviously, there are so many more experiences that people have had out there. But like I said, this is just our experiences and our advice that I could give to you. But, anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful night, morning, afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. And I will talk to you all again soon.